Hi there, I'm Chef Lauren Smith, and this is Conscious Culinary, where we teach you how to cook with natural partners, manufacturer partners products. Today we're featuring Davinci Labs, and we're happy to be using them again because they've got a wonderful product called D-Mannose Complex. It's a great blend that helps you with your immune health as well as your urinary tract health. So they're great probiotics, cranberry, olive leaf, wonderful, wonderful product. And it comes in a powdered form, so it's super easy to drink and incorporate into almost anything. It's a nice tart berry flavor, and it's just sweet enough. And actually they use a good amount of stevia, so people with blood sugar problems aren't going to be negatively affected by this product. So what I was thinking, we have holidays coming up, it's starting to transition into fall time. And one of my favorite things to do with cranberry is, of course, a traditional homemade cranberry sauce for those delicious Thanksgiving and holiday dinners. Now, cranberries aren't quite in season, so I thought it would be really fun to use a red currant. They're tart, they're tangy, they're a little bit sweet, and they're a little bit tannic like cranberries. They come in a black version. You can think of it as cassis, that's kind of the French kind. But what we're gonna do with it is just make a really simple sauce. We're gonna use the currants, a little bit of orange, a little bit of ginger. We'll use xylitol, so there's no sweetness, or there's sweetness, but there's no bad sugar added to it, as well as the D-Mannose at the end. We're gonna have an excellent, tart, delicious sauce for your turkey and anything great coming up. So watch this one. It's really simple and you'll enjoy it. So to start making this currant sauce, you wanna have a nice pot going on about a medium heat on your stove. And I'm just going to take all of my little currants and put them right on into my pot. And you can see from just sitting in the bowl all that beautiful kind of red juice that just comes out of those currants. Lovely. It's one of my favorite flavors. So I'm going to crank the heat up just a little bit higher, kind of a medium-high heat. I'm just going to take a whisk and kind of mush these little currants around. I really want that juice to release. And they have these tiny, tiny little seeds in them. We're gonna strain those out later. So when you start mashing them, the heat's gonna start breaking this down and it'll get nice and juicy. Okay, so to this, I'm gonna add the juice of 2 oranges. And these are just fresh squeezed, so you're going to be looking at about a half a cup to 3/4 cups worth of orange juice. Okay, so I'm just going to keep mashing in those currants. I'm going to turn my heat up to a high. And I'm going to let this boil for about 3 to 5 minutes. I really want the juices to release out of the currants and also everything to combine and shrink down a little bit. In other words, just reduce. And before I kind of let these boil for that 3 to 5 minutes, I'm going to add about a half a teaspoon's worth of fresh minced ginger. Now everybody has a different opinion of ginger. I happen to love it. It's fantastic for your stomach. So when you're eating a big holiday meal, it's like a wonderful digestive aid. So you can do a 1/4 of a teaspoon, but I'm gonna do a whole teaspoon because I love it. Just gonna add it in. And as it cooks down, that'll take out that fresh kind of spicy burn of ginger. Give it one more stir, and then I'll come back to it in about 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, so the liquid has come up to a nice rolling boil and it's been going for about 4 minutes. It's starting to reduce down nicely. So what I'm gonna do is take it off the heat and just grab myself a little strainer and I'm gonna strain out all those seeds. So just take your little whisk here and just work the liquid out. You'll see there's lots of skins and seed that still have a ton of liquid in them. So we want to just press that all out because that's the goodness of our sauce. So essentially you're going to start seeing a pulp. Okay, that's about as much liquid as we'll get out. And then I think just to clean up the pot, just take a little spatula and get rid of all those little seeds that are still hiding out. You don't want those to end up in the final product because we're going to use the same pot. All right, that looks good. So I'm going to put this back on a medium heat. I'm going to add the liquid right back in. Make sure we get all of it. So use that little spatula and scrape it right back in. Look at that, there was like a teaspoon of liquid hiding out in the bowl. Okay. And then we're just going to add a pinch of agar-agar. And all we really want is for it to dissolve right into the pot. And this is going to give it that jelly-like property. We don't want to turn it into Jell-O. We just want it to hold up nicely without adding cornstarch or anything like that. It's just a nice little pinch. And we'll whisk it right back in. And this is essentially going to be done when the agar is completely distributed and dissolved. Okay, and while that's going, I'm going to add the zest of 1 orange. So this is from the orange that I used the juice for earlier. And then a 1/4 cup of xylitol. Now, currants are quite tart, so if the ones that you have are a little bit more ripe and sweeter, especially if you use the dark kind, use less xylitol, right? And if you want to use real sugar, go ahead and use real sugar. This is going to help add that syrupy, sweet property to it. The nice part about xylitol is it melts pretty quickly. So I'm going to make sure this mix comes back up to a simmer for about another 3 to 5 minutes. Like I said, just so that xylitol melts and that agar kind of disintegrates right on into the mix. And then we'll be ready to pour it into a jar and cool it off and have a beautiful, beautiful currant sauce. So my currant sauce has been boiling away and it's been getting tighter and tighter and just beautiful. It's this crimson red color and it's reduced quite significantly. So we're at about a cup's worth. So I'm going to make sure I can get everything I can right out of the pan. Get a little spatula. Get all the goodies out. There we go. Okay. So the last touch, we're just going to let this cool a tiny, tiny bit by just whisking it. Let some of that heat come right on out of it. And then to finish it off, I'm going to add a couple scoops of the good D-Mannose powder. Now you could use up to 4 scoops, just depends on how many people you're going to serve with it. But they're nice size scoops, so I'm going to go with 2. And what you can do is if you're going to have a big party or a holiday feast, you can double this recipe. And then I would definitely add 4 scoops. Okay. And we're just going to whisk it right in. And we want to get to the point where there's no clumps. So we want the mix to dissolve nicely. Okay, so everything's nice and mixed. What I'm going to do is add it into a cute little jar. This one's a little bit big, but you kind of get the idea. You can use a cute mason jar, any nice way to serve it like that. Make sure I get all of it. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in the fridge and let it cool with the lid open. So if I close this, it's just gonna sit in there and steam, right? So I'm gonna keep it open, let it cool, and by the time it's completely cool, you'll be able to go in there with a spoon, scoop it out, throw it on turkey, and it's gonna be awesome. So we'll show you in a second what it looks like. So I've pulled my currant sauce right out of the freezer. It's been chilling, it's nice and cool, and you'll see it sets up just like a beautiful cranberry sauce. You know how like at Thanksgiving you open up a cranberry sauce and take it out of the can and it still has the ridges of the can? Well, it's this consistency, but obviously homemade and much better. So I'm just gonna take a little scoop out so you can see it. It's a beautiful jewel tone red. It's almost like a ruby. That D-Mannose Complex adds a beautiful flavor and color to it. So you can taste the sweetness, you can taste the tartness of the mannose product, but you can also taste the beautiful flavor of red currants. So this is a really, really simple recipe. You could apply this with cranberry just as well. You would use the same amount of sugar, strain it just the same. So it's just a fun, wonderful thing to have around. And when you put it in a little mason jar like this, all you have to do is seal it up, and it'll keep in your fridge for at least a couple of weeks. So you can use it on Turkey Day. With leftovers, you can spread it on a piece of bread, add some turkey and cheddar to it, and make a fantastic turkey sandwich. You can even eat it on toast with butter, just like a jam. It's just a wonderful, fun product. And it came out just right. Like I said, you can taste the D-Mannose, that fun berry flavor, but really what shines through is that beautiful currant. And as it goes down, it kind of cleans your palate, has a tart, bright, fresh flavor. So I'm really excited to share this one with you guys. It's simple, but such a fun seasonal treat. So again, if you have D-Mannose around, go ahead and try this recipe. And even if you don't, try it out at home, see how it does for you as that great immune booster, as well as urinary tract help. So again, thanks for watching this recipe, and we'll see you on the next one.